Hello there. Today I'm going to show you how to fix a LG 4K smart TV that broke. The model in question is here on the label. It's a 49 UF770V and it was manufactured in September 2015. It suffers from a problem, I believe, of overheating, because what happens is the video part of the processing of your TV that you're trying to watch, be it from an external source or from internally, it basically is unable to render the video, but the screen still has the menus and the various options, so it doesn't look quite dead, but it's unable to render any video basically, and I'll give you an example of that now. I'm just going to turn on the TV now and you'll see the first signs of an issue with it. And basically, instead of standard static noise from the built-in tuner for the digital sort of broadcast, what you will see is a bit of a pattern on the screen. So I'll just show you it switching on. So everything looks, there it is there. So this all looks quite reasonable. You can kind of go in, select various options like iPlayer, start watching it. Okay. So that's what happens. Definite issue with the processing chip for the video, I believe. Nothing to do with the T-Con board, it's an issue on the main board itself. I will open up the TV now and show you what's inside. There's quite a few screws on the back of this, but they're all very straightforward to take out. And to lift the cover off, just lift it from the base. That's how you start to take it off, not from the top of the set. Okay, so this is a view of the back of the TV set, and to the left we've got the power supply board, and that has a 28 to 28 pin cable. A flat cable goes directly into the main board here, and there's also a T-Con board in the middle, which is the final bit for the video that then gets distributed to the panel. So there's some connectors to the panel there, and a couple of speakers on the bottom. And the main issue, as far as I can tell, and from what I've read about, is all to do with the chip that's under here. So this is the culprit. As you can see, it looks like an afterthought, actually, the way that this has kind of just been sort of chucked on. So you've got the heat sinks, you've got a central sort of heat sink here, and then another one up here, and it's just lazily kind of attached, and you can take it off. So I've already taken it off to have a look at the culprit underneath, and this is probably the issue, the XD chip. But equally, you could get problems under this one as well, because these are the only kind of heat sinks that you get, and there's no thermal paste on the back of this. It's just a little bit of sort of sticky on the back to hold the heat sink in place. So I guess what happens is it gets heated up, and the way that these boards are attached to the back of the set, possibly there's a little bit of strain on the board as well, so that might affect the connections underneath. So this is like a grid underneath. And that's basically what happens. So there's a couple of options. One is to get a brand new replacement board, or one that you know is good, it's not been worked on before, or you can send off your board like this one and get someone to rebore this for you. But that's a bit hit and miss. You may get a few months out of that and it might be fine. So I started to look at these boards, and unfortunately they're quite expensive to get secondhand, and they always seem to be sort of close to the £100 mark. So I sort of thought to myself, well, you know, it is a risk, because you're buying a board again that's potentially got the same issue. So this, I think, is an early revision of this particular model of this board. So what I did is I started to look at all the image listings for similar sort of displays. So I was looking at the 49-inch TVs from LG, and I was just looking at this part of the board first to make sure that all this matched another board. And we've got the HDMI sort of ports on the back here, and the various components and SCART and stuff here as well. So yeah, I just basically spent a long time looking at all the kind of equivalent boards that might be similar, and they might even work with this display. And what I found is I came across a board from a 850 set. So that's a UF 850, and basically that is a very similar looking board to this. It will have different firmware on it, but it looks to be better made because it has a proper sort of heat sink to it. So I'll just show that to you now. This is the board, the 850 board, and the first thing you can see, it's got this humongous heat sink on it, and the other good thing about it is it's held on by the screws of, so when it's actually screwed into the chassis, there's a bit more kind of torque, and basically it's got the same location here. So we've got the chip up here, the chip down here, and this distributes the heat. So I thought, wow, that looks a better board, full stop. And also it is a little bit cheaper to source, so I was able to get this one for just under £50. So the only real difference in terms of this fitting in to the TV set is two things. One is you've got on this side less pins, so this is a 24, not a 28 socket. And then on this side you have a bit of plastic, a surround, which basically adds strength to the to your kind of connections here. So you do want to reinstate that. I will now place this board in place of the original board and let you see what the result is. What you will need to do is source yourself a new cable, and you need a 28 going into a 24. So again, I had a good look around, and there are different models that are supported by this cable. So the one to get looks like this. Don't get one that's twisted, you need one that's flat. So it needs to be a flat cable, and this is a 28. It's got an external bit here that doesn't actually go anywhere on this set, to a 24. With the 850 board in place, you can see I've got the 24 pin connector from the 28 on the power supply. Everything else fits in nicely. Now, before I went for this particular board, I spent ages and ages looking at the T-con boards to make sure that they matched between the models, so they do, and also the power supply as well. So that was my major concern, was making sure the T-con board and the power supply were matched to this board. And the other thing that you get for free is the remote control sensor is the same for this board as well. So it's a big improvement. It's got this huge sink here, so this is much better. I've also put the original plastic surround on here, which reinforces the connectors on here, because when you've got your leads in, you don't really want to leave that off. So I've put that on. Now I'm going to put the back panel back onto the set and power it up. Strictly speaking, this is now a LG UF850 set. So the board placement is perfect. The edge reinforcement from the plastic is perfect along here. The only thing I've got to do is maybe update the label. The remote from the 49 UF770 set is different to the 49 UF850 set. So some of these buttons will not work, and one of the ones that doesn't work is the home button. You can get around this issue by getting hold of a universal remote, like a one for all, and there's some dedicated remotes that they did for the LG series of sets, so they probably will work better. You can see the screen, so no interference sort of patterns. It's gone straight into a particular screen. It's saying no signal, which is true. So we go into the general and then come across here. Let's go to about TV, and we're running software version 040625. The TV is confirmed as a WebOS TV UF850V. You get into this bottom menu and you have to go into TV Guide. This is using the one for all remote. I'm pressing on exit now, and this gives you your bottom kind of options. I'm going to attempt to go into YouTube first and play something just to prove that the video is working.
The polls had barely closed when President Erdogan's supporters flooded the streets.
So that's promising, isn't it, this video? Now, I'm not seeing the flickering that you're seeing on the video, so this is most probably due to frame rates and the way that the video is being captured. So that's a good result. Let's try iPlayer now. And this is using iPlayer, and that seems to be playing fine as well. So that's good. Let's go into something else. Unbeatable. Let's try that. So this TV was given to me for free, and it was going to be thrown away. but I managed to save it, which is good, and going to look forward to using it as well. So just to total up, to replace the parts, it was just under £50 including postage to get the new mainboard, and then the remote, I've actually just ordered a LG dedicated remote for sort of £6, and the cable, the flat connector of the 24 to the 28 on the power supply, that came in at £10. So you can do it relatively cheaply, and you know that you've got a slightly newer set, and also you have a better heat dissipation on the board itself, so that's much better as well. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll do some more videos in the future. Any questions, please put into the comments. Thank you very much. Bye for now.